Right here we have a little compost, well, not a little compost, a big compost pile going. We have it compartmentalized. We're still not done with the structure yet, but what we are doing is we are creating 6 stalls for compost, and when we get a chance, we're going to add a roof to it to keep it covered better. Until then, we continue to turn it, and this is a combination of things: animal poo, grass clippings, leaves, and just all other kinds of organic material. And there's one of my noise makers right there. That's the mommy and her babies following her. And there's the papa right there. Yeah, mommy hears you. I know some of you may think it sounds strange for me to call myself their mommy, but I love animals. I love animals. They are so adorable. But another good thing about having the compost, what are you talking about, blah, blah? We used to have it on the other side of the farm, but looking at another garden channel, I forget which one because I look at so many. I have my favorites, but I look at so many. They actually have it to where their chickens can scratch through their compost and poo and do all of that stuff in it too. And so this is going to be some awesome compost next year, by next year. We had a really good discovery of our ginkgo biloba leaves. We put all of those into a contractor bag, and over the winter they just sat in there, and just all kinds of things happened. And they were very moist and soggy, and when we ran them through the wood chipper, the leaf mulcher, it came out to be this really rich, beautiful compost. And so, looking forward to that again. What is that little fellow over there doing? Look like he's trying to jump on his mama's back. How cute. And she just walked away from him. But anyway, I came over here to show you the compost and the animals. Things are just coming right along. Also, to just talk a little bit about the shortage on meat. It's really something because a lot of people depend on meat. They've come to depend on it. And of course, not everyone is able to raise their own meat, but basically we have a number of different things that we have here. Lambs, sheep, goats, and some of you may not know this, but pigeons are a clean animal to eat according to the Bible. Chickens and turkeys. Now the other birds, they're just here. The silkies, those are chickens too, but we just kind of have them as pets for now. We would like to breed them. Some people like them. The silkies are those right there because they are really exotic looking birds. And there was a local farmer that had them and she was selling them. So we bought some from her last year. But I want to continue to encourage those of you who haven't taken the plunge to start growing your own food, do so, even if you don't have the space. I was just talking to my mom, and she was talking to my sister about utilizing the indoor grow tents with grow lights. In other words, we are without excuse at this point. There are many methods. Of course, you can't grow everything using that method, but you can grow a lot of things using that method. As a matter of fact, we're going to do that too. My mom wants to go ahead and get all of the equipment and get us set up in the lower levels to do that as well. You know, doing what we can, because right now the economy is kind of whacked out. Everything is so unsure and uncertain right now that we need to do whatever it is we think we can do to take care of our families. That's what it boils down to. Do whatever it is we think we can do. Nothing off limits at this point, because this system seems to be going in a rather strange direction. We can't say that we didn't know, because many of us have been talking about this stuff for years. Hi, Sophia. Sophia's working in her area. I'll let her showcase her area another day. But many of us have been talking about this for years, that something was about to happen and that something is upon us. And so at this point, we have to forge ahead with, excuse all the noise and the bumps, family. We got to forge ahead with whatever we can do. And I'm always encouraging people as well to unify with whomever you can, whoever you can get with, to do something, make it happen. But by all means, do not sit still. No one can afford to sit still at this point. I wanted to come up and show another thing that we decided to do, to give you some ideas for those of you who are in a rush and you don't really think you have a lot of time to do anything. What we did is we took a space. This is a space that's 20 by 100. It's actually the length of the roll of plastic that you can get from Lowe's or Home Depot. Right out of the box, we rolled the whole thing out. Now, we did discover we're going to have to close this in because the geese like to come up here, and I noticed they bit some of the heads off of some of the things that we planted, but that's okay. That's why we got that roll of fencing right there. We're going to lock this in so the geese cannot get in here and mess with our stuff anymore. But anyway, as you see here, this is plastic, right? And we got these bags of topsoil. Now, what we did with these bags of topsoil is we got some compost and some fish emulsion, and we got some of the water from the pond over here, and we got some other compost that we had as well, and we mixed it in with the topsoil, okay? And then what we did from there is we went ahead and planted inside of this stuff, right inside of the bags, okay? And then we had some left over from what we didn't put in the bags, and so instead of scooping it up and taking it elsewhere, we planted a little bit of something there. Really no organization to it. We just said, hey, we got a pile of dirt, let's stick some seeds in it, right? Same with over here. Now you can see the geese don't come up this far, so you see these are coming through. Okay. These are squashes. You see that? They're starting to sprout. We did this last week, so they're coming through. We've had some decent rain. Right here, another pile we had left over with our little dirt mixture. So what we put here are some green beans. But as you see, this is a large area. Okay. And then over here, we decided to, we spaced it apart pretty good. Over here, we have watermelon. This is our little watermelon patch right here. Like I said, we spaced it apart pretty good from the butternut squash, which is all the way at the other end there. And then we have some other vining plants in the middle right there. So they're spaced apart pretty good, pretty far, so that we don't have any strange fruit, if you know what I mean. For those of you who don't know, if you have something like cucumbers or watermelons or squashes that are planted too close together, during the pollination process, they can intermingle and you come out with some strange fruit. Ask me how I know. Okay, that's one of the watermelon sprouts right there. They should all be popping through real soon. Now, just so you know too, just because you fertilize once, you don't want to stop there. You want to keep going. Okay, so we are going to continue the process of fertilizing every 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks. And as often as we can, as often as we can, we will get water from the pond to water everything. It's a process, especially when you're trying to grow a whole lot. Trying to get the water to all of the various areas can be difficult. And so we are going to be doing that as often as we can. Right there, we had some maple trees that kind of took root. Those little helicopters, they fall down and you get trees. So we have 3 right here from last year. So we've collected a lot of those little helicopter things, and we're going to grow as many maple trees as we can and plant them at the right time. And we also plan to sell some as well. Maple trees produce maple syrup. Yes, they do. They produce maple syrup. At our old place, we used to tap our maple trees and get that nice sap out of there and made our own syrup. It used to be so delicious. And so we plan to do the same thing here with the maple trees that we have as well. We have 2 mature maple trees here. And the ones that we're going to plant, it's going to take them some years before you can do any tapping, but at least we will get the ball rolling. But another thing I wanted to talk about is fruit trees. That's one thing that we invested in. Notice I called them an investment. Okay, we have a lot of fruit trees planted here. Plum, peach, cherry, apple, nectarine, a number of different cherries, and just different fruit trees here. And these are an investment. As you see, this one is loaded with peaches. Loaded with peaches. We planted this one last year, and it's doing pretty good for it to be its second year here, doing pretty good. But trees are an investment for anyone who has any space. I don't care if you have a little space. Get as many trees as you can. I've seen gardeners with just regular city lots, and they would have one guy, I recall him saying that he had 30-something trees on less than an acre. And I said, wow, that's impressive. But when you understand something, let me tell you something about peaches. When we have peaches, we turn that into a meal. We batter and we fry them sometimes, and they become a whole meal. A whole meal. And so fruit is not just fruit in terms of, hey, I got me an apple, I'm going to eat it. You can batter and fry it and make it a whole meal. We do the same thing with bananas. We have fried bananas, and you turn something that simple into a meal. And so what I want to do is I want to continue to encourage you all. Many of you over the years have followed our channel and watched and saw our gardening videos. Many of you have been asking for more. Here's another peach tree. You see all those peaches on it. You've been asking for more garden videos, okay? And so I'm trying my best to do more. The planting season is still underway, but it's not as hectic as it was in the beginning. In the beginning, it's crunch time for us, and we're trying to do as much as we can to get everything established, because once those warmer days and weeks and months come in, certain things can't be planted. So you try to do as much as you can while you can. And so I'm having a little bit more time. But for those of you who have asked for more garden videos, I just want to encourage you. That's why I wanted to show you some of the things that we are doing. If you don't have a whole lot of time to get things going, that one option that I just showed you with all the bags, planting directly in the bag, just making sure that you put a good mix, not just the bag, the contents of the bag, but putting other stuff in the bag too. Any natural fertilizers, organic fertilizers that you can put in there. If you have access to any type of organic compost, put that in there as well. And then plant your seeds. It may not be the prettiest thing to look at, but nonetheless, you have food growing. You have food growing. So that's the goal. The goal is to get the food growing, and think about all that other stuff later. And so we decided we were going to give that a try this year too. Many of you have seen some of our options, things we've tried growing in the hay bales, and some of those hay bales actually started to decompose down and became some really good soil for us for this year, you see. And so we've tried a number of different things. Growing inside of boxes wasn't the most attractive thing, but it kept things together for us until things were better established, until we got some better options in place. Another thing I plan on doing, and this is a great space saver, we've done this in the past at our other place, is we would plant things like cucumbers around the base of a tree. And they would literally climb up the tree and almost appear as though you had cucumbers growing from a tree. And so we need to trim all of this up. We haven't really had time, so it's looking kind of rough, but hey, it is what it is. But what we plan on doing is planting around the bases of some of these trees, cucumbers, cantaloupe, anything like that that you need space for, but you feel like you're running out of space, use the base of a tree. The base of a tree is a great option for you. Okay, this is it for me. I'm going to be heading in now. For some reason, it's a little chilly out today, and I don't have on a jacket right now. So I'm going to head back up to the house and chill. We've had a long day, long, busy day. But again, I just wanted to give you some of these options. That one right there is a great option for those of you who want to try something quick and easy. Cut right into the bag, family. Right into the bag. And just make sure you put a good mixture of organic stuff down in there. Plop those seeds in. Keep it watered. Make sure it has enough sunlight and all of that good stuff. And you will be well on your way. Okay, these are my tips for the day. I love you, family. And with that, I will say shalom.